What's up, guys? It's Quinton Griggs. I'm out here hanging out with Rob on Front Row Life.
All right, Quinton, what's up, man? I was just telling Katie that I came across you last year, I believe, on TikTok, and then you released your debut single, Chaos, and then I was like, I need to stick around with this guy. Like, this guy's sick. I mean, like, even early on, you were already grabbing everybody's attention. How do you feel like TikTok helped you kind of discover who you are as an artist or the kind of sound that you wanted to work with?
Yeah, man. Honestly, man, during the whole social media thing, honestly, it really did help me find myself. It really helped me figure out in life, like, what I liked about myself and what I didn't. So, like, during the whole social media thing, honestly, man, wasn't really like the best time for myself and my own personal, like, how I felt about myself. Because like I was always constantly, having to put on a fake persona or a fake smile all the time. I couldn't always be myself, and then around let's see, about a year and a half ago, around November of 2021, I got into the studio for my very first time, and fell in love with it, man. It was like I finally had an outlet or something that made me comfortable in being myself and like being able to express myself without getting like anxious or all these different things. And once I found that and got into the studio for the first time, man, I kind of really just stepped back from social media and dove into the music and my new self, and this is where we are now. 2 singles out. Crazy Devotion just come out. We got another single coming out next month, signed to 300 and on the road.
That's amazing. And I love the fact that your first studio session was with Erik Ron. I feel like that's the best, like, starter. Not even a starter, because that guy's a big deal. Like, he is legit, but I feel like he's the best one to kind of start that artist process, artist experience, studio experience with, just because he's been around for so long. He's worked with artists both small and big. So, how do you feel like he helped you kind of understand the situation you were in and understand you as an artist? Because that's different too.
Oh yeah, I mean, all shouts out to Erik, man. I think honestly, man, Erik, he's really the person that made me fall in love with rock music.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, because I'm honestly until Erik, man, like, rock wasn't the biggest part of my life growing up. Like, music wasn't until, well, yeah, rock wasn't a big part. I loved music, but I didn't know that I wanted to make rock music until I got in with Erik, and he was like playing all the instruments, and I was like, oh, this is real shit. Like, there's real emotion that goes into this shit. So
that's so sick. And then once you finish working with him, you jump on board with John Feldmann for the new new single, Crazy Devotion. Obviously it's 2 different producers, 2 different dynamics. How, what was the reasoning to going to John Feldmann for this new single?
Man, constantly as I grow as an artist, the music has changed over the sound. The music sound has changed over the course of a year or a year and a half, however long it's been, because I've just been finding my lane in the music. And Erik helped me do that, because with Erik I was making, like, it was more punk, trappy. Like, you've heard Chaos, and with John Feldmann, it was just like at that point, my biggest inspirations were like Story of the Year, The Used, and all those early 2000s guys. And I knew that John had a lot of history with those guys. And, I just wanted to try it out and see what would come from it. So
So as you go into the writing session for Crazy Devotion, like what really kickstarted that writing process for you? Like, was it an initial melody that you had, or was it like a lyric or an idea that you had in mind?
Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, Crazy. Yeah, that session was fun, man. I think we did Crazy Devotion within 4 or 5 hours, the whole song.
Damn.
Yeah, man. It was me, John Feldmann, and Pete Wentz. It was just us three. I walked in, they were already there. I walked in and John looks at me and he was like, "Hey man, what do you want to write about?" And like I said, at the time, my biggest inspirations were Story of the Year, The Used, shit like that. And I was like, yeah, man, I've been like, this song, it's called Until the Day I Die by Story of the Year. I was like, this song is like really like speaking to me right now. And John looks up and he goes, "Dude, I worked on that track." And I'm like, what the bro? Like what? Cause it was just crazy. And he was like, yeah, man, like we can totally do something like that if you're like down to do it. And I was like, yeah, like I came in saying I want to do it. Let's do it. So John started building the track. At the time, I was going through some pretty crazy stuff in a relationship in my personal life. So me and Pete Wentz just sat in the corner and wrote. And within 30 minutes to an hour, we were recording, and a couple hours later, it was done. It all just kind of fell in perfectly.
It's quite the coincidence. I recently just messaged Dan. I was like, "Dude, I need a new Story of the Year record. Like, I'm in need of you guys right now."
Yeah. I think them and John are actually cooking some shit up. So
I mean, it's about time they go back to John. Like, it's been some time. So that's so sick. So, that writing process with you and Pete, like, was it something that you both kind of had to learn to understand each other's process, or did you feel like it was very natural? Like it just kind of flowed between the two of you?
I met Pete before that. So me and him had already had like a little relationship going. So it was kind of just me and him bouncing off of each other. Like, yeah, throwing ideas out and seeing what was good and not. Yeah.
So during this writing process, what do you feel like was challenging during the actual writing process, not the recording process of it?
I've always have trouble. That's the reason why I make music. Growing up, I've always, and even in this interview, you can kind of tell, I always have trouble coming up with what I actually am thinking, like figuring out how to say it and speak what I'm thinking. I've always struggled with that. So music has helped me with that. And that's honestly one of the hardest things in the studio for me. It's just like when it comes down to that, like being able to open up and shit. But the studio, it's helping me so much. When I get in the studio, like most of my shit goes out the window and it all just flows out, So yeah, that's the most challenging part.
Do you think that's due to vulnerability, or is it just trying to find the right words to kind of get that emotion out?
Yeah, it's definitely just finding the right words. Yeah.
Now, as far as like you jumping into the actual recording booth and doing your vocals, like, do you feel like vulnerability plays a role at all, or is that something that you don't even think about? You just record what you record.
In the booth, man, I don't even. Yeah, everything goes out the window. I'm just having fun. Yeah.
So you coming from that like pop punk kind of like genre, like growing up with like Story of the Year, as mentioned, The Used, and then doing this kind of rock music that you're doing now, like, do you feel like you had to learn different ways of singing, like different ranges, different dynamics? Like, what was that process like for you kind of discovering your voice?
Oh yeah, man. I study everybody around me. I study all the people that came before me, whether it be Frank Sinatra, Elvis, to, I don't know, Vince Neil from Motley Crue and Robert from Led Zeppelin, like all their voices. I studied all of them, all the ranges and notes that they hit. And I'll sit in my room, home, or in the studio and just sing. Like I just sing to myself in the mirror or whatever and find different notes that I never knew I could hit. So yeah.
Do you feel like there's like a comfort range for you when you're recording vocals?
What do you mean a comfort range? Like
do you have this particular range where you feel like your voice is comfortable? You're not like going too high or too low? Like, have you kind of discovered that during the process?
100%. Yeah.
And is that the range, like when you first write music, is that the range that you initially go to when you're writing the lyrics, trying to kind of test out the sound or the style?
1000%. Yeah.
So it's cool that, again, you've had these like great experiences with these great producers and great artists as well to kind of collaborate like early on in your career. How do you feel like they've helped you navigate in order to kind of create your own sound instead of sounding like, you know, certain artists?
Man, you know, I wouldn't be able to do any of this shit without the producers and songwriters that I've worked with. They've took what I see in my brain and the image and just made it into like this beautiful thing. I don't honestly, like, that's something that I honestly will not be able to explain. That's something that like I don't understand how some people can do is turn an image into something real, and it's crazy.
That's awesome. Now you mentioned that there is a new single in the works. Like, is it around the same realm as what we've heard so far, or are you giving us a different kind of style and sound?
Yeah, this next single, I'm so excited for it to come out because like with the punk rock and everything like that, you know, there are a lot of people doing it, you know. It's a little saturated right now. So my main goal, and really since I started making it, is how I could differentiate myself from everyone else and make my own lane and make my own sound. So that was another thing I dove into whenever I backed off of social media was that kind of stuff. And this next song, man, I'm so excited for it because it's just me, honestly. It's like a mix of early hair metal meets early 2000s, like Motley Crue meets Story of the Year. It's like a perfect mix up. And it's what I've been trying to capture in my music for the longest time now. And we finally did it. And I cannot wait for it to come out because once it comes out, we're in it, man. We're going. Yeah.
So out of curiosity, is this single is the producer for this doc?
Yeah, man. Shout out.
Shout
out, man. Shout out Collin Brittain. That man is a one-man army, I swear. Like he is talented.
So are you like, do you have a list of producers that you like really want to work with? Because I feel like you're nailing like a lot of my favorite producers at the moment. So it's like, are you actively trying to work with these people, or it just so happens that these opportunities are happening for you?
You know, I ask all the time when I'm getting in the studio again with Collin. Like I'm constantly like, yo, Gab, yo, man, when we getting in the studio with Collin again, man. Man, I love Collin and John Feldmann, man. They're legends.
Man, that's so dope. I'm excited to hear what this new music is going to sound like. And at the same time, do you feel like you've already, your sound, or do you feel like you're still trying to discover, who or what Quinton's all about?
1000%. I think I feel like comfortably saying now that I've found the sound and what it is with the new music that's about to come out. So yeah, so stoked.
That's exciting, man. And again, like, congratulations with the recent signing with 300. Like, how did this kind of happen for you? And what was the reasoning behind you wanting to be part of this team as well?
Yeah, man. You know, honestly, I have no clue how the label side of things work. I don't know how they found me. I don't really understand that kind of stuff. But, you know, speaking to all the different labels, 300, Jeff Finster my A&R at 300, he really showed really the whole team. They just showed so much interest, and whenever I told them what I wanted to do and the image that I saw, they were the ones that really understood it and knew it, and like were saying the things that I would say myself, you know? So I was like, these guys get it. They get the image. Let's just hit the road with it. And here we are.
Congratulations with that. I got to put it out there. Hopefully the next producer after these 3 singles is Zach Cervini, just because that's another producer that I definitely look up to. And
it's coming soon.
Oh man, I'm going to send you my list, and I feel like it's going to be every single one that if I was an artist, I would want to work with.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome, dude. Well, thank you again for taking the time to do this.
Yep.
I look forward to catching up with you again soon. And I'm ready to see what a live show is like with Quinton.
Oh, dude, you're going to have a blast. I'll get a blast. It's just going to be fun.
Dope. Well, thanks, man. And best of luck with everything else.
All right, man. Appreciate it.